Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think a lot more enthusiasm is warranted this evening, given that it is the first day of this year's Damodar month, and we still have another 57 days to go. So we should be firing on all cylinders, as they often say, right? And we should sustain this energy and this enthusiasm for the next month. A lot of programs to cover, a lot of new devotees to reach out to, lots of lamps to be lit for the pleasure of their worships, and bring a lot of new souls into Krishna consciousness, right? Is there a doubt? Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Okay. So, welcome to day one of Kartik, this year's Kartik. And I'm sure this is like many other festivals in the Krishna conscious calendar or in the Vaishnava calendar. This is one month which I'm sure all of us eagerly look forward to throughout the year. The reason is quite obvious. This is a season where it's a festive season first and foremost, right? And this month is full of festivals, one after the other. Okay, there's a long list of festivals. Of course, Diwali is the most commonly known festival. But then, as Vaishnavas, we celebrate Damodar month, where we offer lamps to the Lord and read the pastime of this particular pastime of Damodar Leela, okay, from Srimad Bhagavatam. We glorify Srimati Radharani. Why is that? Because in addition to this being Kartik month or Damodar month, this month is also called as Urja month. What does that Urja month mean? Urja month is named after Urjeshwari. Who is Urjeshwari? Urjeshwari is none other than Srimati Radharani. Okay? And therefore, anything that we do this month to please Srimati Radharani, okay, automatically pleases God Krishna also. Right? And because this is her favorite month, or the month named after her, okay, any service that we do to satisfy their lordships, okay, she is very pleased with that soul, and she puts in a kind word of recommendation to Lord Krishna. You know what? The soul is trying to serve us very nicely. So why don't you be a bit more favorable towards him and clear any roadblocks in his devotional service, right? And this is a season of being generous, right? Season of Deepavali, okay, and at least back in India, I don't see that happen much in Singapore. There are sales and bonanzas which are announced. You know, buy one get two free, buy one get 10 free. Flipkart comes with the sale, Amazon comes with the sale, $1 billion sale, and all those things, right? So in the same way, this month is also a bonanza month. Okay, it's a month of a spiritual sale that has been opened. Okay, why? Because not only itself, any kind of devotional service that we do. Swalpam apnisya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Lord Krishna says in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So even a small amount of devotional service done, okay, will take us a long way. But any amount of devotional service, no matter how small it is, that is done during this month, the spiritual credits or spiritual benefits that we get in return are magnified thousands and thousands of times more, right? So in that way, it is a very good month for all of us to intensify our spiritual practices, okay? Be it in terms of chanting additional rounds. Of course, we are offering a tulsi lamp, yeah, or a ghee lamp. Reading about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, right? Glorifying their lordships, right? And why is hearing so important? Because throughout our Shastras, if we see, okay, Bhagavatam or any of the other Shastras, the importance of hearing Krishna Katha is of given paramount importance. In our Navavida Bhakti itself, okay, we hear Shravana, right, as a first step, as part of the 9 forms of devotional service, right? And even in Bhagavatam, in multiple places, it is said that through the process of hearing Krishna Katha, or through the process of hearing the pastimes of Krishna, one can taste the nectar of the glories of Krishna. Imagine hearing and then tasting the nectar of the glories of Krishna. Lord Brahma in his prayers to Lord Krishna in the third canto says that through the process of hearing, one can smell the aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord. He also goes on to say that by hearing about the Lord, one can see the form of the Lord. Okay? Obviously, we're already chanting, right? So we can see that by the process of hearing about the Lord, all the senses are dovetailed in satisfying the senses of the Lord. Okay, as Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Devotion. What does he say? Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. Right? So highest form of devotional service is to engage our senses in serving the senses of the Lord. Right? So what better way than to simply hear about the glories of Lord Krishna. Right? So when we look at Srimad Bhagavatam, so in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, just before this pastime, okay, and I'm sure many of us have heard this pastime many times over. Right? Is there anybody who has not heard the Damodar Leela today, present here today? Good, nobody. So everybody has a good understanding of what Damodar Leela is. And I'm sure all of us have heard the pastimes of, different pastimes of Krishna, read about them many times over. Okay? But the beauty of Lord Krishna's pastimes is such that every time we hear something, we relish it. Okay? We enjoy it. And that is the beauty, or that is the significance of anything that is connected with Lord Krishna. In the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Navam Navam. Right? So the pastimes of Krishna are always relishable, they are always fresh, they are always new. Okay? Tadeva Ramyam Tadeva Shashvan Manaso Mahotsavam. Okay? They are eternal. And they are a festival for the mind. Okay? Such that it removes all the material kleshas or the material difficulties, material challenges that one is going through in life, day in and day after. Therefore, one can never get bored of hearing or listening to Krishna's pastime. Unlike reading a book or hearing to some other material song or watching a movie and so on and so forth. Right? So when we come to the Bhagavatam, before this pastime actually happens, the context is that Lord Krishna has just completed his pastime of eating mud. And Lord Balaram actually snitches on him. Okay? He goes and complains to Mother Yashoda that, you know what, Krishna has eaten mud. Right? And Mother Yashoda is very angry. And of course there is this entire pastime of Mother Yashoda making Krishna open his mouth. And then she sees the entire cosmic creation within his mouth. And she is bewildered. Okay? For a moment, she begins to think that Krishna is divinity personified himself. Right? And she comes out of that Vatsalya Bhava to actually think that he might be the Supreme Lord himself. But then Krishna immediately gets worried. Oh my God, what if Mother Yashoda continues to remain in that state of mind? Then who will love me with parental affection, parental care? And therefore, immediately Krishna's Yogamaya potency takes over and puts a veil on her mind, such that she is back to her parental form. Okay? And then she realizes that, oh no, this is my little child, Krishna only. Right? And this, Maharaj Parikshit actually asks Shukadeva Goswami, oh, what a glorious mother Yashoda has to be. Okay? And what did Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Ma actually do in order to attain this position? Which actually Shukadeva Goswami explains over the course of the 9th and the 10th chapter of the 10th canto. But then, it is in that context that he actually starts narrating the very sweet pastime of Damodar Leela. Why is it sweet? Because Krishna has enacted many pastimes in his childhood, right from, he was a few days old or a few months old, when he started off the series with Putana, he went on to kill multiple demons. And the common thread or the common feature across all these pastimes is that there is bloodshed, there is violence, there is some killing here and there, right? But this is probably the only pastime, or one of the pastimes, where there is no bloodshed. Okay, it is fit for all age groups, no R21 or no R16, no restrictions. So people from all age groups, all categories, we can relish this particular pastime. Right? So the pastime begins by Shukdev Goswami talking about this day of Deepavali. Krishna Chakravarti Thakur actually says that this event actually happened on the day of Deepavali. Okay? And Mother Yashoda, she got up early in the morning. And as usual, the moment she got up, she saw Krishna was lying on bed next to her. And she looked at him, smiled at him, remembered him, and said, "Oh, what can I do in order to serve my little baby boy today?" Okay? And for that begins the very first lesson for all of us, in terms of how each one of us should also begin our day. Okay? Normally, a lot of people, okay, first thing that they do is when they get up, open up WhatsApp. What is it that I have been missing when I was sleeping? What is it that people start scrolling? Okay, before they even go and wash their face and attend to their other ablutions, right? Normally, the first thing that they do is all these things, catching up on material happenings. But this is a wonderful lesson for all of us. Begin the day with Krishna, right? A simple prayer in terms of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, and thanking the Lord for giving me the opportunity of serving Him on another day. And that was exactly the mood of Mother Yashoda. Okay? And she said, okay, let me start preparations for serving my little baby boy Krishna today. Okay? And saying this, she went, had a bath, dressed very beautifully, okay? The best of saris, the best of flowers. Bhagavatam is so detailed that it goes to the level of describing the color of the sari, the type of flowers that she was wearing, the jewelry that she had adorned herself, all for the, not her own sense gratification, but all for the pleasure of Krishna, right? In the same way, that should be our mood. Whenever we come to see Krishna, okay, we should dress ourselves nicely, okay? We should apply tilaka, right? For the pleasure of satisfying Krishna. So saying this, what was the next task? By then the whole household was up, okay? And all the maid servants that she had, they had already started the preparations for the day. It was an important day. And Mother Yashoda realized, oh, there is actually no one, but because it is the service of Krishna, I want to do it myself. Okay? And what was the service that she wanted to prioritize for the day? First thing in the morning, she wanted to churn yogurt and extract butter. Right? So the maid servants had already kept large vats of butter, okay, which are being made from the best quality milk. Nanda Maharaj was the chief of all the cowherds in Brajbhumi, right? And he had, it is said, about 900,000 cows under his control. 900,000, almost 1 million cows, right? And out of these cows, there were some cows which are of very special category. So what they used to do was they used to feed them with special milk, special grass, okay, the best quality grass, sweet grass, right? And these cows were called as Padmagandha cows, right? And the milk that was given by these cows, okay, that had been made with yogurt, okay, and that had been kept separately for extracting butter, so that Krishna could be given on nothing but the best. So Mother Yashoda then started churning, okay, using the churning rod, which I'm sure many of us have seen in our days back home, okay, and she started churning. And as she was churning, Bhagavatam tells us that she was not thinking about any mundane topics, okay. She was not worried about who am I going to send my email to, what meetings do I have for the day, what shopping do I have to do. No. And these are the kind of thoughts that typically occupy our mind the first thing when we are engaged in any kind of devotional activity, first thing in the morning when we are chanting or something. No. Her only thought was in terms of how do I please Krishna. And towards that end, what was she doing? She was keeping her consciousness very, very clear, very, very spiritual, okay, and remembering all the pastimes, okay, of Krishna. And she was composing those pastimes in a poetic form and singing them aloud, right? Which is again the next lesson for all of us. Whenever we are doing any kind of activities, be it on the material front, at least on the home front or on the work front, keep Krishna in the background, okay, so that will purify our consciousness, and we will be doing that as an activity for the pleasure of Krishna rather than doing it as a material activity for our own sense gratification, right? And which is exactly what all the gopis and the cowherds in Brajbhumi also used to do, right? Singing the glories of Krishna, hearing the pastimes of Krishna. Why? Because that was their lifeline. As they sing the Gopi Geet, Tavakritamtam Tapta Jivanam. Your stories, your pastimes are our actual lifeline, without which we will not be able to survive. Right? So that was the mood, that was the bhav in which Mother Yashoda was trying to extract the the butter from the yogurt. And when all of this was happening, Krishna was beginning to turn around, right? And the moment he got up, okay, he was looking for Mother Yashoda here and there, right? But then, finding no trace of her, so he didn't find her, but he could hear the wonderful kartal sound coming from Mother Yashoda's bangles. Okay? Why? As a result of the churning that she was doing, was producing a beautiful tinkling sound. Right? So Krishna got attracted towards her, and he gently made his way from his sleeping chamber to the outer courtyard where Mother Yashoda was actually churning. Okay? He went from behind and gave her a tight hug. Okay? And Mother Yashoda realized, wow, what a wonderful reciprocation. This was the reciprocation by Krishna to Mother Yashoda's call, the remembrance of Krishna. Okay? So the third lesson that we need to remember is that Lord Krishna always reciprocates. Okay? It may not be visible, okay, to our material conditioning. It may not be visible to our thinking, right? But he always reciprocates. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when. Okay? Depending on the sincerity of our surrender, depending on the level of the surrender, it may happen immediately or it may happen sometime in future. But let there be no doubt that Krishna always is there, he is always protecting us, he is always watching us, and he is always ready to reciprocate. Right? So when Mother Yashoda saw him, okay, her joy knew no bounds. She immediately took him, placed him on his lap. Okay? But before this, Mother Yashoda also was trying to play some games. What was she doing? She was pretending to act as if she had not noticed Krishna's presence. Like typically mothers, play some prank on their kids, right? But then Krishna immediately held on to the churning rod and thereby indicating that enough of churning. I want to be fed. I'm hungry, so please feed me. So Mother Yashoda immediately put Krishna on her lap and started feeding him milk. Okay? And Bhagavatam describes about the unspoken reciprocation that was happening between Mother Yashoda and Lord Krishna. They were looking at each other, their eyes were looking at each other, they were smiling. Mother Yashoda was smiling at Krishna, seeing Krishna smile. Krishna was smiling, seeing Mother Yashoda smile. So this thing was going on for a while, okay, beautifully. And suddenly at that point of time, Mother Yashoda remembered that, oh, you know what? I have kept a pot of milk in the kitchen, okay, in order to make the best of sweets for Krishna. So that milk may boil over. So she was in a dilemma. What should I do? Should I continue feeding Krishna or should I go and save the milk? And very often, so she was unable to decide as to which one should I prioritize. Because both are important. Here I am doing service for Krishna. That is also a service that I have taken up for Krishna. And very often in our spiritual life, this is exactly the dilemma that some devotees face. Right? There are multiple services that we may have taken up. Which one should I prioritize? Which one should I deprioritize? Right? And that is where a prayer to Krishna will help us decide. Right? Why? Because Krishna says in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satadayuktanam bhajatam priti-purvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yenama upayantite. What does that mean? I will give you the intelligence. Okay? I will give you the intelligence. So exactly in the same way, from somewhere, Mother Yashoda got made this decision that, you know what, I should prioritize the milk, okay, over Krishna. I will come back and feed him, right? So she went to the kitchen, dropping Krishna just there itself, and in order to attend the milk. Some of the acharyas gave a beautiful commentary on this particular thing. And you know what? It's very interesting and very sweet. The milk, it is said that in the spiritual world, even inanimate things are actually animate, right? So, for example, this mobile phone, not to say that this mobile phone is to be found in, or let's say this flower, okay, this garland, that also has feelings, okay, that is also animate in nature. So in the same, and when Krishna, he was in Vrindavan, Rajbhumi, that Vrindavan was non-different from the Vrindavan that he lived in or lives in the spiritual world. So all the inanimate, so-called inanimate things around him were also animated. So this milk, it was seeing the sweet reciprocation of love between Krishna and Mother Yashoda. And it was thinking to itself, oh, you know what? Mother Yashoda's milk should satisfy Krishna already. So what is the purpose of my life? What is the purpose of my existence? How am I going to satisfy Krishna? And so it decided to come up to the pot and jump into the fire on which it was cooking and commit suicide and end its life. So that was the thinking of the milk. So this is what the acharyas actually described. Right? But Mother Yashoda was quick enough to run to the kitchen. She sprinkled some cold water and she knew what was in the mind of the milk. She said, relax, I'll give you also an opportunity to serve Krishna. Okay? But first, let me take care of him. So saying this, she cooled down the milk. But in the meantime, because she had brought Krishna, Krishna was furious. Okay? Imagine the irony. Okay? We just said that Krishna only gave the intelligence to Mother Yashoda in order for her to make the decision on which one to prioritize, the milk or him. And now, and based on the intelligence that he provided, Mother Yashoda went and saved the milk. And now Krishna is angry over the same decision that Mother Yashoda made of dropping him. And he said, how can she deprioritize me? Doesn't she know that I am hungry? My hunger has not been satisfied. Okay? How can she deprioritize me? He said, I cannot take this anger. So Krishna, again, he is the Supreme Lord, right? Bhagavatam says in the first canto that he is Atma Ram, completely satisfied. But here, he was not playing the Lord, he was not playing the role of, or the part of the Supreme Lord. He was actually playing the role of a small baby child. And a perfect one at that. Right? So just like all other children, that we come across, our own children, they behave. Krishna was behaving in no different manner. So he said, I'm angry. I have to teach her a lesson. So what did he do? He found some pebbles, okay, which are lying around. And what did he do? He just aimed at one, it did not break. He picked up another bigger stone, aimed it fine, then threw it. And the reaction was the entire vat or the entire jar or pot of yogurt that Mother Yashoda was churning, it just broke open and there was a flood of yogurt all over the place. Okay? For a moment, Krishna thought, oh, what was I done? What have I done? Okay? And all this is happening in the few moments that Mother Yashoda has left him alone and gone to the kitchen to save the milk. Right? So in that few moments, Krishna realizes, what have I done? Okay? If Mother sees me in this situation, okay, then I'm done for it. I'm going to get the spanking of my life. So I better scamper. Better make a scoot from here so that she doesn't catch me red-handed. But Bhagavatam Prabhupada also says that in the Krishna book, he says that before Krishna actually scooted away, he had a look. Why let so much of yogurt go waste? After all, somebody has taken the trouble of making all this yogurt. So he took some yogurt, had his fill, and then he ran away. And in doing so, what did he do? He left these beautiful small baby footprints all along the way, okay, to the place where he actually ran. Right? Mother Yashoda came back, and what did she see? There was a complete mess. It was like a tsunami of yogurt had come on Nanda Baba's house, right? And pots broken, yogurt flowing here and there, but no sign of Krishna. The moment she saw this, it didn't take her long to realize as to who was the culprit behind all of this. Right? She knew it had to be Krishna. It had to be Krishna. But while there was a sense of anger, more than a sense of anger, there was a smile that came onto her lips. Why? Because she realized, you know what? Although my child may be mischievous, he may be naughty, at least he has a presence of mind that he should not stay in the same place after committing a crime. At least he is smart enough to have, ran away. Okay? So that thing is a good thing. And that is the kind of joy that we experience when our children do some mischief. Right? It's quite natural. We are not angry, but internally there is a smile in our mind when we see doing some childish pranks and so on. Mother Yashoda's plight was no different. Okay? And then what did she do? She suddenly realized, oh, you know what? I know where this boy would have gone. Okay? And it didn't take her long to identify where Krishna had actually gone. Krishna had gone and seated himself on a large wooden mortar. Okay? Yeah, this picture is good evidence. Krishna was standing on the mortar, okay, and Mother Yashoda could see the footprints, okay, that led her to that room. And she thought to herself, you know what, this boy is getting a bit too much. This boy has already got a reputation of being a market in all of Brajbhumi, right? And all the gopis, they used to come and complain, but Mother Yashoda never used to take them seriously, or she never used to pay heed to any of their complaints, right? Why? Because she knew, I have the best cows at home. She thought, I make the best butter in town, okay? Why would Krishna come to all of your houses in order to satisfy his appetite or to satisfy his hunger? But little did Yashoda know that Krishna was the cause of havoc in the entire Brajbhumi, right? So Acharyas say that there are numerous pastimes associated with this, with the Nakanchor pastime of Krishna, right? It's said that the Brajvasis, while they used to complain to Mother Yashoda, they secretly also used to aspire, oh, you know what? Krishna should actually come to my home. And while I'm keeping this pot of yogurt, pot of paneer, pot of cheese tied high on the ceiling, okay, I want him to come to my home. I want him to create a mess, okay. I want him to break those pots, so that on the pretext of going to Nanda Baba's house and meeting Yashoda and complaining to her about Krishna, I will have an opportunity of seeing Krishna. So there was some kind of vested interest. And sometimes they used to tie it so high that Krishna actually used to fail, or he was unsuccessful in reaching the pots. On those occasions, what would his friends do? He and his friends do? They would deliberately make a mess of the entire house. If there was a child sleeping by, they would pinch the child and run away. Okay? And the baby would be crying. There are occasions where the gopis would catch Krishna red-handed, right? And take him to Mother Yashoda's house. Krishna would be, no, please let me go, please let me go. The moment they would go to Yashoda's house, see, Yashoda, all this while you were not believing when we told you that Krishna is the culprit. Today I have caught him red-handed. Look at him. And just to show him, it would have changed to that Gopi's own son or daughter. Right? So Mother Yashoda would ask, where is Krishna? This is your son, this is your daughter. And this Gopi would be surprised. And on the way back home, it would change again to Krishna, and Krishna would be smiling like that. So all these kind of beautiful pastimes have been narrated by the Acharyas with regard to this Nakanchor Leela. So Mother Yashoda never used to trust them. But then, today, when she found that Krishna had slightly crossed the limit, she realized that, you know what, I should put this boy in check. Okay? Otherwise, he will grow up to be a delinquent boy. Okay? And the gopis used to say that if your son continues to grow this way, then he will start stealing the wives of all the gopis in future. Right? Nobody will give him a girl. So those are the kind of fears which were in the mind of Mother Yashoda, and she said that I have to chastise him. Right? And then she went into this room where Krishna was doing prasadam distribution to all the monkey friends. None of his other friends had assembled other than the monkeys. Again, we understand from the Shastras that there were two categories of these monkeys. One set of monkeys were the jivas who had come as the rishis or the munis and the sages in the Treta Yuga. right? When Ramavatar happened, right? In the forest of Dandakaranya, they had been meditating on Ram, Lord Ram, right? So they were again being reciprocated with in this particular pastime by giving the association of Krishna. There were another set of yogis who had not perfected their lives, okay? And this was Krishna's way of reciprocating with them in terms of giving them his association. Then there was a third set of monkeys who actually were the Vanaras in the Ramayana again. At the end of the Ramayana, Lord Ram was so pleased with them that he told them, ask for a benediction, right? And while Lord Ram would have happily given them the kingdom of Ayodhya if they had asked for it, all that the monkeys asked was, oh Lord, we have had the wonderful opportunity of serving you in this particular pastime of yours, okay? And we know that this is not the last time that you are coming. So in future, whenever you come down to enact any of your pastimes, please give us an opportunity of serving you again. Lord Ram just said, Tatastu. And while there was a long period of time by material calculation that had lapsed between the Treta Yuga and the Dwapara Yuga, Lord Ram or the Lord had not forgotten the promise that he made to them. And this time, he was reciprocating to them, he was serving to them rather than taking service from each of them by feeding them yogurt. Right? When all this was happening, Mother Yashoda made her appearance stealthily, okay, from behind with the stick in hand. The monkeys saw this and they just ran away. The moment they saw Mother Yashoda from behind, they just ran away. Krishna suddenly realized, oh, my friends are here, no longer here. And he could understand what was happening. The reason was, Mother Yashoda had decided to make her appearance. Right? He slightly looked over his neck, and what did he see? His eyes actually went on the stick that Mother Yashoda was having. And he realized that, oh my God, today is going to be the day. Right? I better run for my life. And he started running. Mother Yashoda chasing him, Krishna running, Mother Yashoda chasing him. There would be times when she would be this close, but Krishna would jump over a wall. Okay? And Mother Yashoda would stop to take a pause. Okay? So this thing continued. All the wonderful decoration, okay, the dressing up that she had done, the makeup that she had done in the morning, it became disheveled. Right? Her hair started to come loose. The flowers on her hair started falling off. The sari became loose, and she was tired. So this thing continued for a long period of time until the situation arose where Mother Yashoda said, Krishna, why don't you allow me to catch you? And finally she grabbed hold of Krishna. And when Mother Yashoda grabbed Krishna, he was shaking. Right? As we will see in this deity form of Damodar, and the Damodar Ashtakam that we will recite in a while. Rudantam Muhur Netra Yugmam Rajantam. Right? Krishna started crying, and as babies do, he was wiping his eyes with his hands. The kajal or the mascara that Mother Yashoda had adorned, all that was becoming undone. His face was smeared with kajal. Beautiful sight to behold, right? But his cheeks were red, his ear was red, he was panting, he was breathing heavily. The shark-shaped earrings on his ear, they were shaking, right? What a wonderful description that Acharyas has given us of this situation. That Lord to whom we pray for giving us fearlessness, Abhayam, okay? That Lord himself is manifesting fear in front of who? None other than his loving mother. Another beautiful example where Krishna is actually showing as to how he can be the perfect child, rather than being the Supreme Lord himself. All that he asked Mother Yashoda was, don't hit me with a stick. That was the only thing that was going on in his mind. Right? Mother Yashoda said, I am not going to hit you. She put the stick aside. But you have to atone for the activities that you have done today. So I am going to tie you. Mother Yashoda, Bhagavatam says that Mother Yashoda's intention in tying Krishna was nothing else. But she was fearful that if she did not do so, he would run away from home. Sorry. He would run away from home out of the fear for the act that he had committed. So therefore, what did she do? She tried to pull those silk thread from her silk cords with which she had tied her hair and tried to tie him to the mortar. As much as she tried, she was always falling short. Short by 2 fingers. Yeah. So she said, okay, call for the maids, ask them to get more rope. Again she joined them, tied, no luck. Again 2 fingers short. This went on for a while. Bhagavatam tells us that Mother Yashoda started off all this in the morning. It was almost close to evening by the time this unsuccessful multiple attempts at tying Krishna were being done. Right? The entire Braj Bhumi had assembled at Mother Yashoda's place. Right? Some were ridiculing Mother Yashoda. They were actually trying to tie Mother Yashoda. Are you serious? Okay. Some were ridiculing her. Okay. See, she is the queen of Nanda Maharaj, but she can't even manage to tie a small baby boy. Okay. She puts her arms around him, but then she's unable to tie him with the hair from her, with the thread from her hair. So all kinds of comments were going on. There are sometimes when Mother Yashoda was angry, sometimes when she was embarrassed, okay, but she did not give up. She was not willing to give up. There was determination, there was seriousness of endeavor, which is what Krishna was observing, right? And the Shastras say that Krishna is the master of all the potencies. He is the one who is fully potent. That's the reason he is called as Bhagavan, right? So internally within Krishna, there was the conflict among Krishna's energies in terms of one energy, the power energy or the strength energy saying, how can someone like Yashoda actually bind Krishna? Huh? Therefore, we will not allow Mother Yashoda to bind Krishna. But then, there came a point in time where Krishna was so compassionate at Mother Yashoda, the efforts that she was putting in, the determination, the endeavor that she was putting in. Bhagavatam says, Swacheshtitam. Okay, Krishna looks at the endeavor, and once that endeavor is sincere, he decides to let go of. Okay, he decides to let go of everything, and he surrenders or becomes Bhakta Vrishata, or he comes under the control of that devotee. And that Bhakta Vatsala quality of Krishna is the most supreme crown on the jewel quality of Krishna across all the other qualities that Krishna has. Right? So when this happened, when Krishna started having this kind of a feeling in his mind, okay, Krishna's Kripa Shakti, or his compassionate energy, or his mercy energy, that came to the fore, and all the other energies came down. And then at that point of time, when Mother Yashoda was tying him, the two knots actually joined, right? And it was no longer 2 fingers short, right? Two things that we can take away from this. What do the 2 fingers represent? Endeavor and mercy, right? Krishna looks at our endeavor, and based on that endeavor, he gives us his mercy and he reciprocates with the devotees. After this has happened, Mother Yashoda goes away. Krishna's friends come and try to console him. Lord Balarama, who was away at his uncle's place, came and he saw, who has done this to Krishna? I am going to take a revenge. Someone like Sri Rama or someone came and told, Mother Yashoda actually did it. I didn't give him that. Okay? So all of them, they consoled him, they were along with him to give him moral support, but none of them tried as much as they could remove the knot. Krishna then said, okay, now what should I do next? This part of the Leela is over. This is the next point, is the high point. So he saw those 2 Yamalarjuna trees which are standing in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. Bhagavatam tells us that these 2 Yamalarjuna trees were none other than the sons of Kuber, okay, who were cursed by sage Narada Muni, okay, many years ago, right? Because of the indecency that they had, or the indecency that they committed before when they approached Narada Muni in the Kailas mountains, right? So Narada Muni was not happy over the behavior of these 2 sons of Kubera, the arrogance, the bodily consciousness with which they were leading their lives. So he said, since you are so fond of roaming without clothes, like trees, become a tree, okay? And he cursed them. But when they heard this curse, Nalakuvera and Manigriva were repentant. They fell at Narada Muni's feet and asked for forgiveness, repentance, and asked them, can you somehow minimize this curse? Narada Muni said, yes, I will. Okay? The day will come when Lord Krishna, you will come face to face with Lord Krishna, and at that point of time, you will be liberated. So towards that end, both of you will be born as trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So Krishna started going towards the Yamalarjuna trees. As he approached, the mortar got stuck Okay? But given that Krishna is the most strongest personality in the entire universe, he just pushed and those two trees came down with a thunderous sound. And from there emerged these two personalities of Nalakuvera and Manikriva. Krishna asked them, not that he did not know who they were, but for our benefit, he asked them, who are you? And they narrated the entire pastime. Right? And after hearing this, they fell at the feet of Krishna. Krishna said, I have nothing to do with you. Okay? But because my great devotee, my sincere devotee, Narada, he had prayed to me on your behalf and he had given you a promise that I would liberate you. I am doing this to keep up his word. Third level of reciprocation. Right? So they offered their prayers and saying this, they were liberated and went back to their kingdoms. Okay? And there it ends the pastime. Right? So if we were to closely look at what actually happens in this Leela, right? More than anything, this is the Leela which glorifies the greatness of Mother Yashoda, right? And how Krishna comes under the control of his sincere devotees, okay? How he reciprocates, the way he reciprocated to Mother Yashoda, the way he reciprocated to the Vanaras, the way he reciprocated to Nalakuvera and Manikriva because of Narada's prayers, right? And that should be the mood when we are lighting the lamps or singing the Damodara Ashtakam in a short while from now. Okay? In terms of not asking for any material benefits or material things, but having a spiritual aspiration and praying to Him that let this month of Damodar mark a new beginning in our spiritual life so that we are able to intensify our devotional services, our sadhana, and we are able to serve the Lordships nicely, not just during Damodar month, but for eternity. Shri Gandharashram Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Devotee Vaishnavas ki, Gaur Premanande.
Praise from the Prabhu ki. Jai.